Now, we know that dozens are still missing at this hour, still unaccounted for in the midst of those search and rescue efforts, an effort that has been truly emotional. I mean, we've seen it on some of the photos of the first responders digging through the debris, looking for some of these youngest victims. And it's such an emotional process, but for some, it's a calling. And Lauren Crawford, I know you spoke with some folks from Texas EquiSearch who say that this truly is something that they feel called to do.
Yeah, absolutely, Madison. And Texas EquiSearch is one of the state's most experienced search and rescue teams. They spent another day on the Guadalupe River. Now, the mission, as you've seen, is physical, but it's also deeply emotional. They're using dogs, boats, heavy equipment to get through that thick debris and find the victims still unaccounted for. Now, the Guadalupe River, you can see right here, looks peaceful now, but for miles, the banks tell a very different story. Piles of debris, twisted metal, and ravaged RVs line the shore. Texas EquiSearch founder Tim Miller says his volunteers have never seen anything this bad. He and nearly 130 volunteers from Texas EquiSearch will continue working relentlessly along the Guadalupe today to bring closure to those heartbroken families. Now, on Monday, it was the search dogs that led a cruise to more bodies.
We did have some luck this morning with a couple of our cadaver dogs, and we're still running them dogs now. A deal like this will certainly wear you out physically, and it takes an emotional toll.
Now, Tim Miller, who you just heard from right there, turned his personal tragedy into a lifelong mission. Miller actually started Texas EquiSearch after his own daughter was murdered, and says that he will not stop until every family affected by this flood has answers. Now, the search and recovery efforts in Kerr County are extensive. Madison, you've been showing it all morning. Teams and volunteers from around the country and the world are just pouring into Kerrville right now to help in whatever way they can. And Madison, I know from talking to you that you saw some of that work firsthand yesterday and spoke to some of those volunteers.
Yeah, and I mean, it really is. It's extensive. I mean, once they're searching these areas, using those cadaver dogs, once they clear an area and they don't find any victims, then at that point, the hard work really begins, where they are trying to literally move mountains of debris. My photographer, Andy Abbott, and I saw a debris pile so big yesterday, it probably was about 2 stories high. So that just kind of gives you the scale and the force that this water caused as it came through the area that now has to be cleared before this town can resume to any type of normalcy and normal operations. Now, when we got to town, we saw so many folks trying to lend a hand, trying to do whatever they could to help. We saw pallets of water being carried in on pickup truck after pickup truck. We saw tons of 18-wheelers carrying in supplies for those first responders. And we also saw some heavy-duty machinery that was coming in to help with the clearing of the debris and the land that now needs to be put back to its normal condition. Everywhere you looked, it seemed like there was helpers doing whatever they could to help this town get back to some sense of normal. Where debris removal and meticulous search efforts are happening, days earlier, a much different scene.
July 3rd was the most beautiful day. Water was perfect, crystal clear. People were jumping, swimming, kayaking. It was amazing how beautiful that day is.
A picture Lorena Guillen took along the river hours before the flooding. Now a memory of a place that may never be the same.
It was paradise. It was a little piece of heaven on earth.
Her beloved Blue Oak RV Park, now the command center for search and rescue efforts on this portion of the Guadalupe River. Dozens of teams and volunteers from around the country and world now doing whatever they can to help.
North Carolina is here, Stockdale, Fredericksburg, San Antonio, Houston, Mexico sent a huge fleet yesterday from Ciudad Acuña. They came here to help.
Lindsay Fisk and her family are some of those volunteers.
We're just doing anything that needs to be done. We're pulling out vehicles, moving debris. I helped an older couple clean out mud out of their house half the day. Just anything that needs to be done.
And along with the trailers of heavy-duty equipment, she also brought the next generation of helpers.
Because that's your job as a parent, to teach them how they should grow up and what they should do and what you would hopefully hope that they would do in the future.
life lessons being taught.
Why sit at the house and twiddle your thumbs when you can come help and clean up around your community? Just help out.
By witnessing heartache and hope firsthand.
Look around, and this is Texas. Everyone's showing up to help everyone.
It was devastating now to see everything change so quickly. Count your blessings. Be grateful for what you have when you have it, because you never know when it's going to be gone.
Now, as you just heard there, crews from all over the country are pouring in to help here in Kerrville. You also heard that there's a team from Mexico that came across the border to help with those search and rescue operations. Ken Molestina actually got to talk to some of those rescuers about what their experience has been like here in Kerrville as they've searched and unfortunately found multiple bodies in the midst of all of the devastation and rubble. Now, we know that today what we're kind of looking forward to is more search and recovery efforts, more search and rescue efforts. We also know that the governor is expected to do an aerial tour of some of the hardest hit areas. We're expecting to get an update from him after that aerial tour, which is supposed to happen around midday. So we'll certainly be bringing that to you live here on CBSNewsTexas.com. And Carmen and Brittany, I mean, this is something that's hard to describe. It's hard to put into scale, the rescue efforts, the recovery efforts, but also just the loss of life and the loss of livelihood that is here in this beautiful area of the hill country of Texas. But it's powerful, and you really do feel how many different veins this has on so many different areas of Texas, including our home of North Texas.
Well, there's no doubt the devastation is unimaginable. Madison, thank you for being our eyes and our ears there in Kerrville on the ground for us. Governor Abbott actually did say yesterday, assume everyone is missing or everyone missing is alive. Every minute counts. Oh. So again, that is why we are still considering this a search and rescue mission until officials say otherwise. In the meantime, we talk about heartbreak and what this community is feeling too, but we also see humanity really show up in full force here in Texas. Our neighbors from near and far, as Madison was just mentioning, stepping up to help in such a big way. That's where the healing starts, right? Besides clearing the debris. But anyway.